Remington Rand, makers of the Remington, the world's #1 electric shaver, present everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line?
And now, let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in the New York Journal-American and papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
On my left, the brilliant young humorist who stars on his own television show 5 nights weekly, Mr. Steve Allen.
Thank you, Thank you. Thank you very much. And on my left, the lady who's seen on her own TV show, Talent Patrol, on another network, my late love girl, Arlene Francis.
And on my left, the renowned publisher of Random House and a very funny writer on his own account, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
On my left, our scintillating newscaster and panel moderator, under no circumstances to be confused with the man who wouldn't talk, Mr. John Daly.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Well, once again tonight we're up to our old tricks. We have some friends who've come in and brought some very interesting occupations with them. We trust that the occupations will give the panel a good deal of trouble, so that our friends will go home with some prizes, but more that they will go home after having had a lot of fun. We'll have also a famous guest challenger before the panel a bit later in the program, but now let's get things rolling. It's time for the experts to meet our first challenger whose job they have to spot. Would you sign in, please, sir? Ben? Jamin? S. Rig? Mr. Benjamin Essrig, is that right? Mr. Essrig, suppose you tell us first of all where you're from.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Well, it's nice to have somebody from the city of brotherly love with us. I don't want you to have any brotherly love for those 4 people over there, but take a good look at them because we're going to depart from our usual custom and just bring you right over here with me now, if you will. And you sit right down here, Mr. Essrig. I think probably you know that at this time we give them one free guess as to what your line may be, and we always begin the free guesses with Dorothy Kilgallen.
I think he's an anthropologist.
An anthropologist, Mr. Allen.
He has a broad pair of shoulders. I think he drives a moving van.
Miss Francis.
I think he's a philatelist or philatelist if you have a different dictionary.
Mr. Cerf.
I think he's the house detective at the Bellevue Stratford Hotel.
No, I'm afraid nobody has it right. We've had some interesting answers, but you got to get it right. So we'll let our viewers at home have a further look at Mr. Essrig, and at the same time, we'll tell them what his line is. Now, Mr. Essrig, you've got a very simple thing to do. That is, get a no answer, and every time you get a no answer, it costs them, and I flip a card here, and 10 of these flips, and you have won the game. Mr. Essrig is salaried. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Steve Allen.
Do you deal in a service of any kind, sir?
Yes.
Can you make your services available to both sexes?
Yes.
You are from Philadelphia, is that it? If I were to move to your city, could I become one of your customers or clients?
Yes.
It's even likely.
You do look to me like something of an outdoor man. Does your work ever take you outdoors?
Yes.
Do you then go in the course of your work at least from place to place?
Yes, I think we could say you went from place to place.
Yes.
Depend a good deal on the exigencies of the time, you know, and the place.
I seem to be sort of stunned. To go along with the moving van idea for a minute here, do you transport or truck or deliver anything of any kind?
Yes.
Would it help me to find out now what it is that you handle?
Well, yeah, it could. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Is it a solid rather than something you would pour?
Is it a solid rather than something that you can pour? Well, I'd say... Is that what you asked, Steve?
Yes.
I would say that most of the time it's solid, but I don't want to get mixed. Actually, it's a solid, I think. Don't you agree, sir?
Yes.
Is it something the housewife might want to get rid of?
I think it would be possible to give you a yes answer to this, Steve, but if we did, Mr. Essrig and I would have to leave town. So we'll give you a no. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you implying by that statement that the housewives would like to keep this?
We have to presume that to the degree that this is involved, the housewife would, at least for public purposes, express the wish that they wanted to keep this, yes.
Is this product that you are involved with something that is found in the house or on the house or has something to do with the house?
Small conference.
Yes.
It's a very you see, it's very difficult. We don't want to mislead you.
Oh, not
very
much.
far.
Can't think of anything that would please you more.
I would just like to point out that Mr. Essrig has declared himself as giving a service. Now, the issue of product is one which you've raised yourselves, and in raising it, you've put us in a somewhat difficult position.
Gee, I'm sorry.
So we'll give you a yes answer. Now, you're in a difficult position, so you go ahead.
Well, Mr. Essrig, do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
Well, that was fast.
2 down and
No
8 to
doubt
go.
about that answer.
Mr. Essrig, would by any chance this thing that you transport be alive? Yes. Might it be sometimes the husbands of some of these housewives that you were talking about? I'm not talking about any... Mr. Daly alluded to the fact that whatever it is you transport, for public purposes, the housewives have to admit that they want them around the house. I wonder if that might, in some instances, be their lawfully wedded husbands.
Well, in the hypothetical situation to which you have reference, I think we would have to say yes.
Might these people be in an interesting condition at the time? Let's say slightly intoxicated or for some reason have fallen into the clutches of the law when you're transporting them? Yes. Have you got something to do with driving prisoners around or rounding them up and taking them to jail or taking them from one jail to another or something of that sort?
Conference.
I wonder what part of that question puzzles them.
No, actually, you see, Mr. Essrig has raised a point here that you did get down to a specific, which is from one jail to another, but I do think that the chair will
if he drives
rule...
a prison van of some kind.
Well, the chair will rule, with Mr. Essrig's permission, that the other areaing of the questioning was so general that we'll give you a qualified yes. Now you can go on with them there, Mr. Cerf.
Do you have something to do with prison vans, let's say that, or things that carry prisoners in them? Yes. Well, what more do I have to do?
Get in one of them.
What does he do with them?
What does he do with them? Are the prisoners in the van when you have something to do with them?
You're giving us an awful lot of trouble, Bennett.
Well, I'm trying to...
brother.
I don't want to get stuck on this forever, so I'll say to you, are you the driver of one of these vans?
Mr. Essrig is a stickler for specifics. He says there's a difference between a prison van and a patrol wagon. Actually, he's the driver of a patrol wagon, so we'll flip a couple more cards anyway. It wouldn't take him about that longer to get it. And Mr. Essrig, you were real tough, which is fine. And it's nice of you to have been our guest on What's My Line. Thank you, sir. Nice to see you. All right, let's see what the panel can do with another challenger. Would you sign in, please, ma'am? Chrystal. Conway. Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Miss Conway?
Miss Conway.
Very bold hand, too. There's a lot of conviction in that writing. Where are you from?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Well, you have come a long way, and I know you're tired. So take a look at the panel and come with me, if you will. Now, Miss Conway, I don't know whether this has gotten all the way to San Francisco, but we give them a free guess just to get things rolling, and we always begin the free guesses as to what your line may be with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she's a fan, bubble, or dove dancer.
A fan, bubble, or dove dancer. Mr. Allen.
I get sort of the same kind of message. I think she teaches dancing for Arthur Murray.
Miss Francis.
I think Chrystal is a crystal ball reader at the St. Hopkins, Mount Hopkins, what's the Hopkins?
All right. Okay, Mac, it figures. Mr.
I
Cerf.
think you're Samuel Hopkins.
I think she pushes those cable cars around at the bottom of Powell Street.
No, I'm afraid not. Once again, some interesting answers, but not the correct one. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Miss Conway, and at the same time, we will tell them what her line is. All right. Miss Conway, I think the rules may be familiar to you. Every no answer costs the panel $5. We flip the card here, and 10 of these flips for $50, and you've won the game. We give them one last bit of help. Miss Conway is salaried. With that, we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Miss Conway, do you perform a service of some kind?
Yes, I do.
Do people come to you?
Yes, they do.
Would more than one person be likely to come at a time to you?
Yes, they would.
It would. Several people could come at a time.
Several people.
Well, with Christmas season coming along, would there be likely to be a great many people coming to you around the Christmas season?
Yes, I think actually it could be expected that certainly there'd be an increase in people
Christmas
around Christmas.
Well, when they come to you, do they come to buy something?
No.
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, Miss Conway, do you have anything to do with the public in large numbers?
What's large?
Or anything over 50?
You over 50? I mean, over...
We didn't give you a chance for a conference.
Oh, I snuck that one. I just snuck that one.
Some sneak.
Well, panel's supposed to be confused, but I'm the one that's getting confused tonight. I think what we're going to have to do is give you a qualified answer. It's possible that there could be 50 or more, but it's not necessarily true that there are that many people on most occasions.
Well, do you do something while people watch you?
Yes, I do.
So your appearance is important to your work.
That's right.
Not everybody could do what you do.
No.
That's right. For instance, I couldn't.
Do you demonstrate anything?
You mean a... Now, I think we have to ask you a specific question here. Do you have reference now to a tangible object which
Not
Miss Conway
necessarily.
might
It could be a
demonstrate?
talent.
Demonstrate in terms of teaching by demonstration? We don't want to, give you a false lead here of
You
any
don't
kind.
want to give me a yes either. No, I mean, does she do something, exhibit something, either a talent of her own or something that these people might conceivably be interested in?
I want
before-
to congratulate you. I couldn't give you a no after that question if we sat here all night. You did a yes.
Do you use any physical dexterity or any nimbleness in your work?
Yes.
Do you bend or stretch or twist or...
Yes.
Is that the end of the sentence?
Well, she looks rather as though, graceful and athletic, as though she might be able to do it. Do you do this usually by yourself?
Yes.
Are these people who are watching you indoors, usually?
Yes.
They're in an enclosure. Do they profit in any way? Are they smarter or happier when they leave?
We like to think they're happier.
Well, could this be considered a form of entertainment, what you do?
Yes.
For such small groups?
Small place.
Well, does music ever accompany you?
No, it doesn't.
No music. 2 down, 8 to go.
Very
Mr. Allen.
small place. Not even a jukebox.
I'm going to give you all about a minute more on this.
Whatever you do in the way of bending and twisting, you do it a cappella. Is that it?
A cappella it is.
Well, then it could not be called dancing in any form.
No, it's not dancing.
Yes, it is not dancing, no.
You bend and twist all alone, huh? Do you lift anything, or...?
No, I don't.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it necessary for you to have an audience in order to be able to do your job?
Yes, it is.
Then there is something that you get from the audience and something that the audience gets from you?
Well, here we get to the basic relationship between performer and public. And we
Yes.
feel that in the areas of the arts, the performer often will feel that the public is vital and necessary to the functioning of the...
Well, are we in the
Particular
area
talent.
of the arts?
We are in that area, aren't we?
Well, we're in New York City currently, but I'm not sure about anything else. Actually, your question is a difficult one. It was answered in the context of the need of the audience to give, shall we say, life and spirit, rather than the tangible fact of the audience being necessary.
Oh, I find you so difficult tonight. Do you wear some rather attractive costume or some kind of a costume other than a suit for your job?
No.
I think the minute is up.
Let me ask one question, John. May I? John,
Meanie.
I just have a hunch. Do you do what you do in water? There might just be some kind of
No, I
swimming
don't.
connected with it? You're not a girl in a
and your
goldfish
weenie.
bowl.
Actually, we'll flip all the cards by default because all the time that I was willing to grant you is up. I think Bennett was getting very, very close. Actually, Miss Conway is not in the water herself. It's a reflective
She is a girl
process.
in a goldfish
She's
bowl.
the mermaid in the fishbowl. That's
I
right.
did say
And
Well, you get the full prize because the amount of time we allocated was up. We hope also you enjoyed your visit. It was nice to have somebody all the way from San Francisco. Thanks very much for being
She
our
wears
guest
a
on What's
suit?
My Line. You got this right? Thank you very much.
Now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity.
Since my friends over on the panel would recognize our guest immediately, we've supplied them with blindfolds, which I presume, panel, are all in place. Mm-hmm. All right, will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery celebrity, we dispense with preliminaries. We get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you in some form of the entertainment business?
Yes.
What was that?
Yes.
Have you ever been in motion pictures?
Yes.
Would you say you were better known for motion pictures than for the legitimate stage?
No.
The question, were you better known for motion pictures than the legitimate stage?
Yes.
I think yes on that.
Have you ever appeared in any other medium, such as radio or television?
Yes.
Are you a performer?
Of sort.
Of a sort?
Of sorts. Mm-hmm.
Here I'm like Bennett. I haven't even determined the sex of this one. Have you ever played comedy?
Yes.
Are you also capable of playing drama?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
You are a woman, are you not?
You are a woman, are you not?
Yes.
Oh, dear. Have you been in motion pictures longer than 5 years?
Yes.
And it has been determined that you do comedy.
It has been determined that our guest has done comedy on one occasion or another, yes.
I see. Do people frequently laugh at you, professionally speaking?
Yes.
That is a qualified yes. You go, Mr. Allen.
Have you ever been the leading lady of any motion pictures in which you have appeared?
Once.
Once?
That was once.
Once.
Are you over 30?
Yes.
Let's try one more of that type. Are you over 35?
Yes.
That's all, Steve.
That's all. Yeah.
I was going to rule the 36th Amendment in here pretty soon.
I have an idea here, which the only idea I have, so I'll pursue it for better or for worse. Have you ever made a motion picture with Percy Kilbride?
Oh, yeah, I did too.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, I think Steve was hitting for Marjorie Main. Is that right? Were you, Steve?
Yeah.
You say you were a leading lady only once, and yet you have been associated with the picture business for 5 years or more than 5 years?
Yes.
Well, does that mean that for the most part you play character parts?
No.
That makes it 3 down.
You certainly aren't a leading man.
There's a rather special classification still. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Would this mean, by any chance, at the time you were a leading lady, this picture was about your actual life in private life?
A little.
In other words, you were the central character in the movie, and it was giving something of your life story?
Yes.
Was your exploit in private life, did it have anything to do with anything that required athletic skill of some kind?
No.
No?
4 down and 6 to go, and you have only 3 minutes to go. Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Well, do you either sing or dance?
Do you either sing or dance?
No.
That would make it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Steve Allen.
Did you ever sing or dance?
Well, we all have our little moments of indiscretion.
Have you ever been lonely, however? Have you ever been blue? Did you ever sing or dance professionally?
Did you ever sing or dance professionally?
No.
That makes it 6 down and 4 to go, and you have about 2 minutes and a half still. Miss Francis.
Well, now, Mr. Cerf has determined that the picture that you played in was part of your own personal life. That's correct, is it not?
Yes.
Then is it possible that instead of being a picture performer, you are basically something other than a picture performer?
Yes.
What?
Good question, Arlie.
Not athletics.
It's not athletics. You don't sing and dance.
Free.
Have you done anything that has been of historical importance?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, and about 1 minute and 3/4 to go. Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever had anything to do with public life?
Yes.
Were you in politics in one way or another?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Public life, but not politics?
Oh.
No O's or R's. All right, Miss Kilgallen, you've got about 1 minute and a half.
I'm glad. I'm going to need it. Could we have a conference, please?
Yeah.
You can have 10 seconds for a conference.
Arlene, my mind isn't working. What?
Maybe she's a writer.
Is that public life?
Well, you're a writer. Would you consider you're in public life?
All right.
Maybe she's a
Are you a
columnist.
writer?
Yes.
Are you a columnist?
Yes.
Are you a Hollywood columnist?
Yes.
Have you also broadcast?
Yes.
Oh, what a spot to be in. There are 2 of them in town.
We had one of them on already.
Which one?
We got
Had
about
Harper.
Must be
Are you
Louella
Louella
Parsons.
Parsons?
Louella Parsons, is right. Next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Stephen. Thank you, Arlene.
And thank you both, and good night, boys, and good night, Arlene.
I'm just trying to figure out how that girl gets into that goldfish bowl with that suit on.
What
Good night,
suit?
Bennett.
He hasn't got a suit. That's the trouble. Good night, John.
Thank you.
And good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Now there's a time that you can find both of your favorite game shows. B-I-N-G-O, L-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O. Play bingo, then watch Lingo.
The new Bingo Lingo Hour tomorrow at 7 p.m. on GSN.
Mr. Philbin favors the nutty nuances of Euro Couture that always have him looking like $1,000,000 bucks.